Hello everyone, and welcome to my Bold and Beautiful Today channel. Scott Clifton of the Bold and the Beautiful talks openly about Liam's brain tumor story and shares his destiny. According to teasers for the Bold and the Beautiful, Scott Clifton, played by Liam Spencer, is speaking out on the disclosure of Liam's destiny. The actor opened up about Liam's brain tumor experience and what lies next in an interview with SOD. First of all, Scott Clifton acknowledged that he had a warning several months ago that Liam was being neglected. The show's executive producer and chief writer, Bradley Bell, contacted Clifton to inform him that Liam would not be spearheading storylines for some time. Clifton appreciated the heads-up and could see why a break from Liam's rambling was required. Naturally, that meant Clifton had few scenes for a time, so he was taken aback when a fresh script with all of the Liam and Bill Spencer turmoil was thrown out of the blue. Scott Clifton was summoned to Bell's office when he eventually resumed filming and set up Liam's head injury twist. Bell then provided updates on this plot point concerning Liam's brain's inoperable tumor. The prospect of diving into something so meaty instantly thrilled Clifton. Clifton remarked, "And I'm really grateful to Brad for having enough faith in me to pull this off." When it comes to this brain tumor narrative, everyone is naturally curious about one thing: will Liam have a soap opera miracle or die? As it turns out, Clifton wanted the audience to know that he's riding along with them since he has no idea where this whole thing is going. "I would say to the fans, hey, man, we're traveling together." Clifton responded, "I'm right there with you." Since Clifton is unable to foretell the story's conclusion, he is simply relishing the chance to play this adventure for Liam, no matter where it takes him. Clifton maintained that this plot is being told with such thoughtfulness and delicacy and generosity and love, regardless of how it all turns out. In other words, whether Liam survives or not, it seems like his destiny will be significant and genuine. According to previews for The Bold and the Beautiful, Liam has some difficult times ahead of him. Keep checking back for any other significant medical news. Is Liam's surprising recovery linked to Bill's road to redemption? Updates and spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful hint that Bill Spencer may be about to undergo a redemption storyline. Could his connections and fortune lead to an unexpected solution for Liam Spencer? A heartbroken Steffi has confirmed that Liam is dying. Naturally, John Finnegan informed Steffi Forrester, who was devastated, that Liam was in danger of dying from a brain tumor. Finn suggested that since Liam's tumor cannot be physically removed, their best course of action would be to impede its growth and lessen the suffering. However, when Liam finds out this devastating revelation, he isn't the kind to accept a grim future without a fight. Spoilers indicate that Liam will be adamant about defending his future, which would present Bill with a chance to intervene and change things. Liam and Bill got into a furious confrontation in the Spencer mansion just before he passed out. He walked outside and fainted again, and Steffi discovered him. Due to Luna Nozawa, Liam and Bill got into a heated argument. Although Liam questioned Bill about his role in the freeing of Luna Nozawa, their disagreement went well beyond that. Bill seemed to be suggesting that Liam couldn't make it without the help of his affluent father. As the medical drama develops, does this imply that Liam is now reliant on Bill to keep him alive? Liam, who had little respect for Bill's wealth or power, quit his job at Spencer Publications after their altercation. Ultimately, what Liam actually craved was a sign of his father's affection, signaling that perhaps all these components could finally coincide. Even though Finn doesn't believe there is a cure, may Bill's wealth and influence save Liam's life? Could Liam's survival be significantly impacted by Bill's riches and power? What if Bill steps in to save Liam while simultaneously addressing his son's emotional need? Finn rejected Steffi's insistence that there is a cure for Liam. Bill might be as reluctant as Liam to accept his son's terrible fate, even though Finn couldn't see a bright future. Bill is supposed to utilize his funds to get Liam access to cutting-edge therapies or experimental trials. Finn might not be entirely aware of what Bill's financial assistance can do. In essence, Bill may give Liam a fresh outlook by assisting him in maintaining relationships with his daughters. He might utilize his fortune to save Liam in the hopes of finding atonement following the Luna incident. Carter begs for a second chance as Hope's takeover regrets emerge. Hope Logan apologizes for the Forrester takeover and confronts Carter about his treachery. Despite his troubled past, Deacon thinks Liam Spencer might be Hope's true mate. As she acknowledges takeover regrets, Hope rejects the Carter's fervent plea. Carter Walton tries desperately to win Hope Logan back in a dramatic new development, but her shocking revelation about the Forrester takeover could make all the difference. The carer's emotional plea is incomprehensible. When Carter Walton unexpectedly stopped by Hope Logan's cabin, he instantly expressed how much he missed her. As he frantically attempted to persuade Hope that they could relive the future they had once imagined creating together, the tearful reunion between the ex-couple demonstrated how much Carter still cared for her. Carter said, "I've been missing you," his eyes betraying the intensity of his emotions. But Hope wasn't readily moved by his declaration. Rather, she brought up unpleasant memories of their recent falling out and reminded him of how he let her down when it meant most. As Hope confronted Carter about not standing up for her when she needed him most, the tension between them was evident. She made it apparent that she hadn't forgotten how he had let her down despite her continuous support of his aspirations by pointing out, "You had your chance and didn't do anything." The admission of Hope's bombshell transforms everything. Hope made a revelation that represents a significant change in her viewpoint at the most shocking part of their encounter. She acknowledged that she now has deep regrets regarding their contentious power struggle at Forrester Creations, saying, "I'm beginning to believe we never should have gone along with the Forrester takeover." Hope had previously been totally devoted to their takeover plot, so this admission is nothing short of revolutionary. In addition to costing her job at the corporation, the failed coup has obviously had a negative impact on her conscience. Carter reacted instantly to her admission, expressing satisfaction that she finally understood what he had seemingly come to think for himself. Although they might become closer as a result of this shared insight, Hope's hesitancy raises the possibility that their relationship may suffer irreversible harm. While Liam experiences a secret heartbreak, Deacon wins a Liam reunion. Deacon Sharp, meantime, was busy expressing his unvarnished views to Sheila Carter at Il Giardino, across town. The subject? The romantic life of his daughter. In a shocking turn of events, Deacon disclosed that he thinks Liam Spencer is the one man who could genuinely bring Hope joy. Deacon admitted to a visibly uneasy Sheila that Liam was the one former partner of hers who he believed could bring her happiness. Even though Deacon acknowledged Liam's past as a waffler, he implied that he might have finally grown up enough to be the companion Hope deserves. Liam has received terrible health news in private, which Deacon is unaware of and which further complicates the situation. The timing of these romantic issues couldn't be more tragic, as only Steffi and Finn are aware of Liam's grave condition. Afterward, what happens? Will Hope think about giving Liam another chance as she works through her conflicted feelings regarding the takeover and her failed relationship with Carter? And how will Hope's choices regarding her future change once Liam's illness is made public? Hope finds herself at the center of an emotional maelstrom as Carter refuses to give up without a fight and Deacon appears prepared to act as a matchmaker between his daughter and Liam. The issue still stands: will she give Carter another chance, follow her heart back to Liam, or create a completely new route for herself? With secrets, regrets, and unresolved feelings circling these characters, there's no doubt that the drama is only getting started. As Hope Logan confronted Carter Walton's plea, Liam Spencer refused to accept his terrible fate and was ready to fight, according to the Bold and the Beautiful recap for Wednesday, April 23. This is how everything transpired on Wednesday. John Finnegan thought back on Kelly Spencer's, Sophia Parra's, private dance party with Liam as he tucked her in at the Cliff House, and he was sure that this would be a night she would never forget. Finn imagined that when Kelly was an elderly grandmother, she would reflect on the unique things Liam had done for her. Finn was honored to be one of Kelly's two fathers, even if he could never fully replace Liam in her life. In the living room, Liam was perplexed by Steffi Forrester's announcement while Kelly thought back on Liam's pledge to always be there for her. Liam believed that he couldn't be dying and that this must be a prank. Steffi urged that Liam return to the hospital because the scans had revealed an inoperable lump while he was battling a headache. In the end, Liam acknowledged that Steffi's medical updates were accurate, but he believed that modern science would undoubtedly be able to help him. Liam began babbling about how he couldn't just abandon his girls and never return when Steffi was still upset. Liam struggled to accept that he couldn't conquer his illness because he led a healthy lifestyle and didn't understand this. Liam looked to Finn for answers after he came back from Kelly's chamber, questioning whether he was truly dying. Liam questioned how they should handle the inoperable bulk after Finn supported Steffi. Finn's response, however, demonstrated that the only available treatment for Liam was to attempt to slow the tumor's growth. Liam said there could be a way to make this better after reminding Steffi and Finn that no one could find out he was sick. Liam made a prediction about staying for his daughters after discussing his belief in something greater than science and medicine. Liam said that he had too much to live for after he bravely refused to be executed. Deacon Sharp warned Sheila Sharp, Kimberlyn Brown, at Il Giardino that he would use his hands to keep Carter away from Hope. Deacon was optimistic that Hope and Liam would eventually reunite since he also made insinuations regarding Liam's personal development. Carter arrived at Brooke Logan's house and expressed how much he missed Hope and detested being away. Following all of the Forrester turmoil, Carter attempted to explain his point of view to Hope after they had discussed the impending fashion show. Hope was still angry with Carter for failing to help her when she most needed him. Carter also made the decision to cede control without first consulting Hope, even though she was beginning to realize that she shouldn't have accepted the takeover, which was his idea. Carter discovered that Hope had been thinking about her ex-husband when she considered the difficulties she had faced since her divorce from Liam. Before Carter again pleaded for their own opportunity at a future together, Hope discussed conducting some introspection. According to previews for The Bold and the Beautiful, Liam's medical issue will cause some unexpected problems for the people he loves, so pay attention. Liam's desperate situation in Taylor Brooks' chaos. Spoilers for Bold and the Beautiful, a mix-up at the CBS press office. As you may have observed, the spoilers for this week's episodes are very different from what we're really viewing. The fashion show, for example, was supposed to begin much earlier in the week, according to the official CBS spoilers, which are at least 2 days off. They mentioned the argument between Taylor and Brooke Logan on Tuesday, but it hasn't happened. Then, on Thursday, they recorded Steffi Forrester telling Finn that she should inform Liam Spencer, which actually occurred on Tuesday. Therefore, I have no idea what's happening in the press office right now. Early spoilers for April 28th to May 2nd of Bold and the Beautiful, Liam desperate, Taylor Brooke chaos. Spoilers for Bold and the Beautiful, fixing the timeline. We will discuss what's going on this week, like we always do, because their days are out of order. The Bold and Beautiful stuff has gone crazy, so we're going to speak about what's going on for the remainder of this week without tying it to any particular days before we start talking about next week. It's really strange. Since I couldn't even anticipate what they're doing, I'm not sure if they're doing this because of the Liam issue or because they simply made a mistake. Spoilers for Bold and the Beautiful, Liam's terminal diagnosis and Steffi's heartbreak. You can expect more of Steffi being crushed by Liam's terminal diagnosis for the remainder of this week. Even though she informed him on Tuesday, we do anticipate that she will restate the details on Wednesday before Finn joins them. He will give precise medical information on the tumor and its implications. Steffi will now reveal the news. On Tuesday, she completed it. As they like to do, we'll reiterate that, and Finn will then confirm that it is terminal. No, it cannot be operated. I wonder whether they will offer an alternative. You know, radiation can often shrink brain tumors that are inoperable. Occasionally, even enough so that surgery can be performed on them. We shall see. Instead of giving him ambiguous "you're dying" information as we got with Eric Forrester, John McCook, perhaps they'll offer him accurate medical knowledge. However, Finn's use of the word tumor is already far more specific than Eric's first diagnosis for Bold. Brave and lovely, Liam strikes back. Liam is not going to give up easily. He declares that he will not comply with this death sentence. This week, he makes a daring statement. However, he is worn out from what happened with Kelly Spencer, Sophia Parrs McKinley, when he became lightheaded and was unable to read. He is well aware of the dire situation. Liam is unlikely to voluntarily return to the hospital, in my opinion. We shall see. Since it sounds like the physicians don't think there is much they can do, he might decline and instead begin searching for experimental therapy possibilities on his own. Naturally, Steffi is upset by Kelly's impending father's death. How long does Liam have? Spoilers? Although Steffi accepts what Finn says and is certain that Liam is actually dying and that there is no way to stop it regardless of what he says, she respects Liam's attempt to put a positive light on it. I therefore wonder when they will inform him of his remaining time. Concerned about the impact Liam's passing will have on their family and her daughter Kelly, Steffi is turning to Finn for support. And since she also has a kid with Liam, I do wonder whether Steffi would refuse to keep the secret and go tell Hope Logan or if she will pressure Liam to go tell Hope. Looping Hope in is the appropriate thing to do. Drama in the Forrester Creations fashion show, spoilers for Bold and the Beautiful. We may receive further preparatory materials at the office on Wednesday, but the fashion show is undoubtedly scheduled to begin on Thursday, the 24th, the first day of sweeps. Markel Washington, Lori Bell, Heidi Montag, and Spencer Pratt from WR are scheduled to make appearances starting on the 24th and perhaps continuing through the following Monday, the 28th. Therefore, next week's Thursday, Friday, and Monday are the planned dates for the fashion show. Naturally, Thursday sweeps also begin. It is possible that this is the first time that Taylor and Brooke argue. Additionally, Taylor and Brooke are first fighting over the show's seating arrangements. You know, Taylor could prefer to be by Ridge Forrester's side. Brooke might not agree. We shall see. We shall see. Of course, it begins with small matters. They're going to go deeper backstage after their initial argument, you know. By mistake, Taylor and Brooke find themselves trapped in a storage closet. She shuts the door, and it seems to lock, making it impossible to exit from the inside. Why would you do that? Because it is designed to trap people and would not have a lock on the inside. Spoilers for Bold and the Beautiful, what's Eric up to? As a result, Taylor and Brooke each accuse the other of causing their imprisonment. Naturally, Taylor has already spotted Brooke wearing one of her tiny robes. She might therefore think she's planning something. Since I saw many comments on Soap's social media claiming that Eric was openly supporting Brooke and leaving that video playing, I'm starting to worry whether he's up to something with her. You see, Eric, the pickleball cheater, is himself an old waffler. Thus, pushing Ridge at Brooke isn't really out of character. However, he also concluded that Eric had also concluded that she had betrayed them, and now it all seemed to be gone. Spoilers about Taylor Hayes, Brooke Logan, and Liam Spencer from Bold and the Beautiful. Bold blow up. The showstopper was locked up below. Ridge had just informed Brooke and Eric on Tuesday. I'm wondering whether Brooke will try to put on the showstopper to attract Ridge's attention after Eric encouraged her to do so and about the boat ride, and if Taylor will find out and try to stop her. That could be the root of their heated dispute. Ridge may be irritated because he has some things to say to both of them before the end of the week, which could be explained if the showstopper is in the closet they lock themselves in and arrives late for the show. Spoilers for Bold and the Beautiful, faux pas at fashion shows? Additionally, we have behind-the-scenes footage from the Forrester Creations show with Electra Forrester, Will Spencer, and Katie Logan. Perhaps as they search, they hear Brooke and Taylor pounding on the door to get assistance from the closet. Ridge then confronts Brooke and Taylor on their backstage mischief at his fashion show. Ridge is aware that Eric purposefully omitted that footage. He did appear thoughtful, though. Since Ridge and Brooke won't be reuniting anytime soon, I don't think it necessarily implies anything. At least not until Nick visits the city for Brooke after June 13th. That has already been decided. Spoilers for Bold and the Beautiful, Brooke's future and Liam's battle for life. We will resume with the final day of the fashion shoot the following week, from April 28th to May 2nd. After that, Liam will start researching and seeking solutions for himself that the physicians don't believe exist. He will do everything in his power to avoid this death sentence and continue to be involved in his daughter's life. Look for Liam to get back in touch with Bill Spencer. I assumed that Bill would do whatever in his power to find Liam a cure, so if he told him the truth, he could be able to help. Steffi dislikes seeing Liam in denial, and she can be concerned that he is squandering his remaining time searching for an unattainable treatment when he ought to be spending it with Kelly, Beth, and his loved ones. Additionally, Liam and Hope ought to have some long overdue scenes. Additionally, we must hope that Beth appears in those scenes as well, as she ought to. He and his only daughter shouldn't be the only ones. Brave spoilers, does Brooke need to remain calm? After the commotion at the fashion show, where Taylor and Ridge were tearing each other up and Brooke reiterated his rejection of her and his preference for Taylor, he is looking to the future. Brooke may need to take a break and refocus. Although I don't think she will give up on getting Ridge back entirely, perhaps Brooke will change her strategy. Naturally, Nick will be seeing her in Los Angeles in less than 6 weeks. Recurring actors Dick Christie as Charlie Weber and Jennifer Grice as Donna Logan are also returning. The Bold and the Beautiful hit new heights as John Finn Finnegan made a solemn, fatherly pledge despite Steffy Forrester's extreme grief. The couple, who have endured innumerable hardships together, were thrust into yet another tragic circumstance that put their love, fortitude, and dedication to their family to the test. Even as external forces threatened to split Steffy and their children away, Finn, ever the loyal husband and father, remained steadfast in his resolve to keep them safe. As she struggled with the most recent disruption in their lives, Steffy, who is typically the epitome of fortitude and poise, was left completely distressed, her emotions unadulterated and unedited. As Steffy's worries and Finn's assurances collided, the tension between them was evident, and viewers wondered if their relationship could weather the storm. Sheila Carter's constant meddling in their lives was the main cause of Steffy's suffering. Sheila's manipulations continued to cast a dark shadow over Finn's marriage, even though he made numerous attempts to remove himself from his biological mother. Steffy was afraid that history might repeat itself because she had previously suffered terribly at Sheila's hands. No amount of reason or consolation from Finn could make her suffering any less severe as her trauma returned with a vengeance. Steffy was thrown into a nightmare every time Sheila returned, one in which Finn's allegiances were questioned and her family's safety was in jeopardy. Given how deeply Steffy was hurting, Finn really promised that Sheila would never again stand in their way. Even if it meant permanently severing his relationship with Sheila, he vowed to put his wife and kids first. However, Steffy's terror was more profound than words. She had witnessed Sheila's destructive power, and no assurance, no matter how earnest, could allay that fear. Finn was in a precarious situation as Steffy plunged. He was deeply in love with Steffy, but he also battled the guilt of having a blood connection to Sheila. Steffy perceived his residual sense of duty as a vulnerability that Sheila may take advantage of, therefore his attempts to soothe her only served to increase her anxiety. Convinced that he didn't completely understand the risk, Steffy retreated the more Finn asserted that Sheila posed no harm. Their confrontations grew increasingly intense, with Steffy accusing Finn of underestimating Sheila's ruthlessness, while Finn appealed for Steffy to trust him. The sad truth was that both were correct in their own ways. Finn's love for Steffy was unwavering, even though her anxieties were legitimate. However, reason appeared to be unattainable when confronted with such intense passion. When Sheila made yet another blatant attempt to force her way into their lives in a way Steffy could not ignore, the situation reached a breaking point. Sheila's actions drove Steffy into a tailspin, whether it was a surprise visit to their house, a perverted act of kindness, or some other evil plan. Finn took extreme efforts to demonstrate his loyalty after understanding that words alone were insufficient. In a pivotal moment, he faced Sheila head-on and gave her an unambiguous directive: she was to avoid his family at all costs, forever. Even Steffy, who watched with a mixture of relief and sadness, was taken aback by the force of his declaration. She was relieved that Finn had finally made the decision she required of him. She was saddened to see him break off his relationship with his own mother, regardless of how toxic she was. However, despite Finn's prompt intervention, Steffy's emotional scars remained unhealed. Sheila had left deep scars, and Steffy was always on edge because of the possibility of her reappearance. She began to doubt everything, including her marriage, Finn's genuine affections, and the possibility of true calm as long as Sheila was allowed to cause chaos. Realizing that Steffy required more than assurances, Finn sought expert assistance and recommended therapy as a means of assisting her in healing from her tragedy. At first, however, Steffi, who was proud and self-reliant, resisted acknowledging that Sheila still had such control over her. She didn't realize she couldn't fight this battle alone until she broke down in front of Finn, her tears unrestrained. That moment's unadulterated vulnerability drew them closer than before. As Steffi sobbed, Finn comforted her with words of love and assurance. As her spouse and the father of their children, he assured her that he would stop at nothing to ensure the safety of their family. No danger, no Sheila, no one would ever separate them. Weary but at last letting herself rely on him, Steffi nodded feebly, her faith in Finn gradually regaining its foundation. However, the future seemed unclear. Would Finn's assurance be sufficient to protect them from Sheila's mayhem? Or will their differences deepen even more when Steffi's fears turned out to be foretelling? One thing became evident to viewers as this heartbreaking story progressed: Finn and Steffi's love was being put to the ultimate test. Steffi's anguish served as a sobering reminder of the suffering they had experienced, while Finn's fatherly pledge offered hope. Was this the start of an irrevocable disintegration, or will their bond become stronger? There was no doubt that the drama was far from ended, but only time would tell.